viewers, a very warm and good afternoon to you all. Of viewers, very warm and good afternoon, and welcome to another episode of our regular podcast, The Other Way Around, on our platform Design in Bangladesh. I am your host, Saifur Rahman. Or as always, we delve into the creative industry, bringing guests from around the world to share their insights. Today, we are delighted to have with us Ms. Livia Quaresmini, a distinguished fashion designer, lecturer, and a passionate advocate for sustainable fashion from Florence, Italy. Hello, Lavinia. Greetings from Bangladesh and very good afternoon. Of course, we are in the evening. Good evening, and also for you, that is good afternoon.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. I was very pleased to be invited to join you for this conversation and podcast. And I'm very flattered, actually, that you have chosen me to be one of your guests. Yeah, thanks so much.
No, this is of course, an honor and privilege to talk to you and to connect you with our viewers, our designers, our fashion practitioners, because we need to exchange views. That is why the platform Design in Bangladesh has been established. So, of course, we will learn something from you. We'll get some suggestions for our young designers. As you are a teacher, you of course are practitioner, a designer, and also you are fashion, a sustainable fashion advocate. What I say, and welcome to our show. Hope you are doing well in Italy and enjoying. Uh, so, what see in every country, I think that maybe first world country or the third world country, anywhere, father and mother always like to, or our parents always like to see their children or child to become something which is, of course, sustainable. That is the education. They also like to be an engineer or a doctor or something like that, or but you have chosen fashion design. How
Yes.
did you come to your mind to choose fashion design, and what was the repercussion or the or how your parent took it?
Okay, so actually, nor my mother or father work in fashion. So it was coming from the north of Italy. We have a very big tradition in metallurgy, so has completely nothing to do with fashion at all. So I guess I've been always very creative as a child in my childhood. So the focus of my creativity was always dedicated on garments. I've been very, I would say, I'm very skilled in drawing and illustration. So I guess after high school, I studied foreign languages. The natural choice for me was to pursue this dream in fashion, even though my parents, I have to be honest, they were very skeptical. Um, anyway, I actually took my major in fashion design, and I will say I started working in fashion. Creating my own network with all the difficulties that you can imagine for a person that is a total outsider of this world. So I always have to be honest. I always fought for my place in the industry. And then things came naturally. So I started working as an assistant fashion designer. Then I worked as a creative director for several independent brands. And then I moved to Florence because Florence today is the city where I am living currently, and I'm teaching. And so I started working in vintage after moving here. You know what? Because as as a designer, I was witnessing a lot of waste, even in unsuspicious time. We were already on the verge of a revolution, even though we couldn't say exactly the name and the surname of the people who were causing the problematics that we are today actually that we are seeing under our own eyes and has been exposed throughout many years of talking about sustainability and fighting against this system, this fashion system that is totally unfair and dishonest in very different ways. So I guess when I started working in vintage, I needed a detox from, I would say, all the waste that I was witnessing in production, unsold garments, meters of fabrics that hasn't been used, and very, I would say, a lack of transparency in the practices and I would say in the productions, both of yarns, fabrics, products, etc. Even though I was lucky enough to work for brands that were committed to produce entirely in Italy. Because in Italy, and this is something that maybe is groundbreaking for someone that is not Italian, fashion is the second industry that generates profit in our territory, in our country, but nobody really think about a career in fashion. You are not taken seriously if you want to be a designer or you want to work in fashion. And
What is
I would
the
say that
reason that they cannot take it as seriously as a profession?
because I guess there is not enough culture to appreciate what really fashion is. That is not just a matter of sewing some garments. It is a matter of artisanal craft. I mean, those hands that can create a three-dimensional, I would say, masterpiece that we can
Yes.
wear every day. The fact that we need to praise these artisans. We are a land of, we were a land of artisans. And so while I was working in vintage, I had also the time to start not just, I would say, thinking about my future in fashion, thinking about it, but taking the time to learn pattern making, taking the time to learn how to sew garments and appreciate really what is the craftsmanship that goes inside that. And so in 2016, I decided to go back to fashion and launch my own brand. But I wasn't sure that I wanted to be part of the problem again. So naively, because again, I'm talking about it in a naive way, in an approach that was totally spontaneous, I decided to use dead stock fabrics. Because I said, okay, I don't want to produce anymore fabrics that then I'm not gonna use in those colors that I'm not 100% sure that the audience will like. So why not using the leftover of the industry that is already there? I mean,
Yes.
yes, it is just like a couple of meters. Good for the person that is gonna have that type of garment in a unique way because he or she is the only one that is gonna have that garment. And then COVID happened. I ran out of business. So because 80% here in Florence, we are very much dependent on tourists. So let's say that the 80% of my business, that one that generates profit and makes myself sustainable, has completely disappeared. So I resisted for a couple of years. And then in 2021, at the end of the 2021, I decided that was for me time to again rethink about this. Rethink about my role in the fashion industry. And so I decided to take 2 certificates in sustainable fashion, one from the London College of Art and the other one from Fashion Revolution. And I started, we in Italy, we have a say that when we want to see clearly something, we draw the dots on the eyes. Okay, we wanted to focus on a matter, right? And so this is what I did. And I started creating the course that I'm currently teaching, Fashion and Sustainability. And I decided to stop, even as a designer, because for me it was not enough what I was doing. I mean, yes, I was using that stock fabrics, but still those fabrics, I couldn't
Do you
actually.
find any pressure or difficulties using the particular fabric, or not wasting so much of fabric doing a design?
Was not just the matter of wasting, because I was using all, I would say all, and I was selling all of my collections because I was content with what I was producing. I didn't want to expand. I didn't want to scale up. I mean, when we think sustainably, we have also to think about the fact that we can't be greedy. Okay, so for me it was enough. I mean, I did my own profit. I was in bed at night, asleep, very much content of what I have accomplished. But the
Right.
fact is that the fact was that
So
I
who are
couldn't
your target market or target customers, consumers?
target customers. I will say, in terms of demographics, I didn't have a specific age. Referring to, it could be 20 rather than 50, 60 years old. People that really understood that the mission and the value of the brand itself. But I couldn't guarantee transparency in terms of fabrics, because when you work with dead stock, sometimes you can't trace back the source of these fabrics. So maybe I was using fabrics with dyed with azo dyes. So
Do you
how?
think young people are understandable? The younger generation are understandable?
Let's say that currently the students that I have in my classes are Gen Z students, right? And Gen Z, there are two branches of it. One super committed, and the other one they don't really care about it. Otherwise, you don't explain the success of Shein, that is the most downloaded app today that we have right now in this very moment. So, I mean, there are two differences, two different school of thoughts, let's say, two different mindsets, completely, one opposite to the other, black and white. You don't have anymore the middle areas, now the gray areas. And so I guess this is a generation such as mine, that I am a millennials. In some ways, we have inherited the bad habits of the previous generations, but some of us, such as me, such as some of my students, they are committed to take a break and say, okay, no, I don't want to do that anymore. In fact, I started teaching why. Because for me, teaching is the most sustainable way you can actually share
Right.
the knowledge that you have
So
accumulated.
how do you impart them the sustainability or zero waste or the slow fashion? How do you impart them in the younger generation?
Let's say that here in Florence, after COVID, we don't have a lot of examples, but I bring, for example, to the class my own expertise, my own experience of my brand. And let's say that for in terms of even money power, because obviously those are students, they don't have a lot of money in their pockets to spend on sustainable garments, because sustainable garments are still pricey. Okay, they are very committed to buy vintage, to thrift, even though even vintage, even today, is under the scrutiny, because we are talking about fast vintage, the fact that we don't give enough credit to what we buy. But at the same time, there are students that already realize that. And maybe we talk about the wardrobe ethnography, such as how do you really care about the garments that you have in your own wardrobe? Just rethink of what you have in your own wardrobe and actually develop an attachment to it. Because sometimes, such as Ursula De Castro says, the ready to throw needs to be converted into something that I cherish, that I nourish, that I develop an attachment to, that is not just I buy it because it's fun, it's the vibe of TikTok of the moment, etc. So students have understood that. Obviously, be lured by the marketing, it's pretty easy to be done. What it is difficult is to actually take a break from it. So that's important. And when in some ways you highlighted that, they start thinking. So they in some ways approach to a more slow understanding of consumption and a slow fashion, not against the fast fashion that we are witnessing, the ultra fast fashion that we are witnessing today. But it's, I have to be honest, it's a challenge.
So what is your actually the definition of sustainable fashion? What do you think? What is sustainable fashion?
Sustainable fashion is, sometimes I use this quote even in class, is the ability to be able to survive.
Do you think it is only for the fashion or fabric, or it is a lifestyle that is sustainable, so that we
No,
can make everything sustainable?
no, sustainability is not a performance. Sustainability is a mindset. Sustainability is a way of being. It's not a task that you have accomplished, done.
Exactly.
Then I can do whatever I want.
Right.
No, sustainability, it is a slow change, very, in some ways, non-innocent change. It means that it takes a lot. It takes the gut to renounce, to give up on the commodities that we were used to have, and in some ways embrace something different. But it's absolutely challenging and difficult. So again, being sustainable or acting in a sustainable way is not an easy task to perform. And again, it's not a performance. It's something that you do every day of your life, step by step, with small.
That is a practice of life?
Exactly, it is a practice. Exactly, it is a practice of life. Otherwise, you can't just say, such as these big corporates, not that they plant trees because then they in some ways kill the CO2 that they are emitting. This is crazy. I mean, can you even believe that this is happening? I mean,
Right. So
it's,
yeah, you are also related to fashion revolution.
yes,
Do you know? And you also advocate of the fashion justice. So
yes.
can you please explain this? How fashion revolution is working all over the world and also in Italy? Do they actually working properly, or do you think they need something different, work differently?
Okay, so first of all, I would like to say that I am an activist for Fashion Revolution Bangladesh. First of all, I take part sometimes to panels to discuss about consumers' behaviors, and I was a judge during a contest created for fashion students, Bangladeshi fashion students, during the past summer. And Fashion Revolution, it is a very incredible movement that I also explain to students in class that they can be part of, and they can be part of this big change. But the fact is, the problem is that when you start talking about sustainability, on the other side, you have to have someone that is understanding and is paying attention, because let's be honest, when we talk about sustainability, we can be perceived as boring because we are in some ways, we are stating what are very big problematics that we have out there, and nobody would like to listen to that. We have already so much problems that really sometimes we don't care about what is happening on the other side of the planet. But this is what we need to do. We need to, in some part, we need to understand and we need to care about other people's struggles. And the example that I always say, but this is something that I say to everybody. Can you imagine a garment that in some ways has the energy, is embedded with the energy of the people that has created that? If that is a negative energy, how do you dare to dress up with the negative energy, with the struggles of someone else human being? Because
Exactly.
everything that you wear, has been made by human hands.
Yes.
No matter if it's yours, or no matter if it's from a Bangladeshi woman on the other side of the planet. But this is important. You have to care. you have to care because you have to pay respect for the people that has created that garment for you.
So,
And
as I understand what you are saying, in that context, do you think that, or do you support that it is imperative to let consumer know who is actually producing his or her clothes?
yes, vital is vital. Is vital because sometimes people they forget that fashion, even though is the technological advancements, they are in some ways applied to the majority of the supply chain. Still, the sewing part is very much relying on human hands. This is
Right.
the only thing that we need to care about.
So, as you told that you work with the Bangladeshi fashion designers last year. So,
Yes.
what is how do you what do you know about Bangladesh or the fashion industry of Bangladesh?
I know, unfortunately, the bad news about the Bangladeshi working environment, and I know that at the same time you have committed to actually be able to strike for the first time last at the end of the
Have
last.
you ever been to Bangladesh?
No, never, but I would love to actually.
But
And
you worked virtually.
sorry.
You worked virtually.
I work with I take part sometimes to Fashion Revolution Bangladesh, but I haven't been in Bangladesh yet. But I would love to. I would love to. But anyway, about Bangladesh, what I didn't know is that it's a thriving country with a lot of creative minds that would like to share their vision on fashion, and that is absolutely fantastic because you think about Bangladesh as a country that just produces your garments at a very cheap price. So the fact that Bangladesh is can be protagonist, not just because of the craftsmanship that you can offer, is also incredible because you can offer creative minds that can, in some ways, influence fashion. It can be the next country that can be I mean, a very good protagonist for the fashion system. So that is absolutely fantastic because when you think about those countries, you just think about the problems that they are facing, or if you work in a supply chain for fast fashion companies, you think about them as resources that you need to take advantage of. And so, and that's absolutely, I would say, and that's absolutely groundbreaking. The fact that no matter the fact that the West has exploited you in many different ways, you still have the energy, the power, and the gut to, in some ways, fight against that and impose your own voice. And this is fantastic. I guess this is fantastic.
Actually, what we are trying to do that that the garment are produced in Bangladesh, but our very talented designer Rukia Ahmed Purna, who established this platform or trust like design in Bangladesh, so we are now branding that we not only produce but we also design.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
her sneaker designed in Bangladesh and produced in Portugal and marketed all over the world by a German company, Ekin. So, and this is the platform that is why we have created, because we want to know from you, and we always try to let our people say to you that that is the way that we can exchange our views in this way. Uh, Now I just want to ask that you also do some jewelry designing.
No, no. This is something that I haven't I haven't done.
So how do you think that how we can exchange or do something with the global South and global North?
Yeah. So I have my theory. In fact, there is an activist, a writer that I follow, and I really much care about what she writes. She's called Kate Fletcher, and Kate Fletcher, she talks about the decolonialization of fashion, the fact that the south of the world in general, south, it can be Asia, Africa, America, should be very proud of their own tradition, going back to the roots. And this is something that I will also suggest that if I, for example, if I was a fashion design professor in Bangladesh, I will really press the students to go back to their own roots, not imitate the West, because
Right.
we have, in some ways, with the colonialization, we have exported our way of seeing things. But right now, the south of the world is the one that can really even teach us how to go back to our own ancient traditions. And that's fantastic because right now you are the trendsetters of the world. In some ways,
Right.
we are looking at you to teach us how to, again, go back to our ancient roots, our heritage, our culture that we have totally forgot in some ways because we are so distracted by so many other things, consumerism at the top, I would say. So it is fantastic if you could actually rely on your traditions and transform them with obviously some other things, some others lessons, some other influences that you have around you, because that will be amazing. That will be amazing. That can offer us the next way to see fashion. Otherwise, here in the West, we are constantly repeating the same decades, and then the 90s and the 80s and the 70s and the 60s and whatever. And we
Right.
are not going forward. We're
So
going backward.
it is your suggestion that our students, our fashion designers do something which is unique and there is related to their root, their
Yes.
ethnicity, their culture, and their heritage. So
Yes,
if
they
I
should be
understand.
proud. They should be proud. They should be proud of that, uh, and they should raise their voice on that specific topics, the topics that are part of their heritage, their cultural background. Absolutely, yes.
But what do they learn from you?
That's a tough question because I actually would say that
So
I would like.
as a teacher, what do you suggest for them?
First of all, I would like to answer the first part of the question that I was saying. I would love very much to learn from you first, and then maybe I can teach you something, you know?
Yeah.
Because I don't, in my style, is not, I know everything, you know nothing. And so I just, okay, boom, 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 we're doing this, and that. So it's a matter of exchange. It's a matter of exchange, what we can, I can share my expertise. It's sharing, not teaching, I think, the
Right.
best way to produce something captivating and something futuristic. Sharing my expertise, yes, absolutely. The way I was lucky enough to study with a pattern maker that has worked a lifetime for Armani. So I have the best patterns that in the industry you can find. So maybe I can share these. But let's imagine combining with your traditional costumes, or your traditional fabrics. That would be so fun to see. This is
So
something that I
lastly,
would.
yes, I just want to ask one more question: that how a fashion designer, a local fashion designer, can be a global?
I guess it is a matter of visibility. First of all, you need you need to invest on the right channels in order to be seen. I mean, social networks. You should go out there, spread your voice, and raise your voice. This is something that I will suggest you to do first. Let's bring awareness, and let's us that we are already here in the West, let's say, quote unquote. Let's help you with that. Absolutely. For me, it's absolutely vital to share with students the importance of for example, in this case, Bangladesh, on the map, because sometimes there are countries that are completely kept in the dark because nobody really thinks about them as a resource.
So which part do you enjoy most, teaching or designing?
Both, I guess both. It's a 50-50. One influences the other and vice versa. So I guess both sides of my job. I mean, I'm particularly lucky because I've chosen a path in my life that is the one that I actually have imagined for me since the beginning. So I guess I'm the luckiest person. I mean, for me.
So do you think that the nature or the landscape of Tuscany or everything inspires you to become to design your clothes?
Yes, here in Tuscany, we are re-establishing a supply chain that was lost at the beginning of the 90s. We used to cultivate here linen and hemp, and this is something that has been under the scrutiny in order to be re-established because we want in some ways to again learn from you and go back to our roots, such as cultivating, harvesting hemp and linen. And in Tuscany, we had also machineries that turned the hemp fibers that they are pretty resistant, they are pretty harsh, into beautiful fabrics. So this is something that I'm looking forward actually to happen, because I would love to use everything that is produced, sown, but also cultivated in one territory, because this, I think, it is the next goal for fashion, to be 100% rooted in the area where the seeds, and this is the movement of the best example is fiber shed in California, that teaches us that from seed to stitch is possible, absolutely possible. So why not doing that also in Italy? Because we have the resources. It's just a matter of retracing back what we have lost during the exportation of machineries, intelligences in today. In the past was China, and today can be Thailand, Bangladesh, all the other countries where the big producers, they are moving. We need to place everything back at the right place in order to in some ways flourish, right?
Yeah. Thank you very much for your time and excellent explanation and everything. I think our viewers will love love this conversation, and hopefully we'll meet again anywhere in the world, maybe in Bangladesh. And I would love to welcome you in Dhaka. And we can also share our exchange our views, or we discuss or about the fashion, the creative industry as a whole. We can do. And thank you very much. Thank you again, viewers. Yes, for today it is time to sign off. And in next time we'll have another guest, someone maybe another part of the world, and we'll welcome you there at that time in some time. Thank you so much. Good night.
Thank you. Bye.